to the script and digging ditches with a shovel. Got the pieces of the puzzle, putting it together's a struggle though.
Let's go. Break it down. Shake the sound. Shake the ground.
Yo, what's good? Ciccone back again with another song breakdown analysis for Looking for the Puppeteers, out now. Looking for the Puppeteers is one of my favorite songs, as well as definitely one of the most important songs I've ever put out. It's been released a couple times under different variations with different beats. It first released on SoundCloud, then I re-released it November 5th, 2020 on my album Raw to a DJ Hoppa beat. Then I re-released it again last year, April 26, 2024, on my Sorcery album as a remaster. And then I put the remaster again on my Puzzle Pieces album, which dropped this year. This song, in my opinion, is the best diss song ever wrote. Simply speaking, statistically wise, I called out 94 puppets on this song. I repeat, 94 puppets I called out in this song. If you want to just count the musicians and or producers, 48. 50 if you count The Rock and Lucian Grange, but 48 musicians and producers in one song I called out. None of which, of course, responded directly, so they all took the L. Which is also the perfect test to prove if they are part of the cult or not, if they can respond to you directly, if they play the games with you or not, right?
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles that allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos, in these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies. They're out there showing you the truth. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic, and they are very, very good at it.
Hiding behind plausible deniability or hiding behind the subterfuge, playing games, chirping between the lines. These are all different words for essentially saying doing the same thing, the same action. This is a control tactic they use. So yeah, cheers to the 48 musicians and producers and or the 94 puppets I smoked on this song.
With God's fuck Charles Coyne, Jimmy Kimmel refused to leave. Also, Cali Faye, Jeff Bezos, more like Dunham, a simple ruse. It's called this drug and pull very sinful. I say fuck, go ahead and puff. Still cooking up in here. Your puppets, fierce solidity obstruct. Looking for the puppeteers. Say fuck till I kick the buck.
For this beat and song, I wanted to, and it made sense to go with a medieval kind of drag them down to the dungeon kind of sound and theme for it. Taking it to the very start, I go, fuck Trudeau. Trudeau was actually Castro Jr., and his name isn't Trudeau, he's actually Castro's son, the guy that used to be the prime minister or the president of Cuba, or whatever he was. The product of a elitist party, whatever, someone got pregnant, I guess, and then they installed their royal bloodline puppet. Couple lines down from that, I go, fuck the king from which they dangling, annihilate the crown. Be real, a puppet on a string, keep you smile like a fucking clown. You may or may not know, but Be Real actually did a song called Puppet Master with Dr. Dre. And on that he goes, like a puppet on a string, which is the connection between what I said in my verse. He's also throwing subs at me on his podcast show and on his IG. And on his song Runaway, on the chorus, he goes, through the ups and downs, keep a smile on your face like a fucking clown. Which is the other part of it, what I put in my verse. Be real, a puppet on a string, keep your smile like a fucking clown.
The ups and downs, keep a smile on my face like a fucking clown. If you see me hanging round, please don't run away. Run away, please don't run away. Run away.
After that line I go, loose cannon unhinged, don't need a locksmith. Or exhibit your requirements, common sense, and social skills. That was actually another sub Locksmith threw at me in one of his songs called Pull Me Out the Water, I think. Can't expect us to just ignore the door liars. Your requirements, common sense, and social skills. Leave me in the water, etc., etc.
You out the crowd, you speak loud and arouse few. I'm essential, this instrumental's a stethoscope. Pulse racing, embracing forward unless you broke. Cultivation of fascism, they dress in cloak. Passed off as liberty, literally to suppress the smoke. Choking off the fumes from the forest fires. You can't expect us to just ignore and adore liars. No requirements, common sense or social skills. Leave me in the water, I'm going deep, the show is real.
Locksmith also said, in a different song, he enjoys watching people sit on the sidelines. Who the fuck says some evil shit like that? That's just immoral and stupid. What the fuck? He's throwing subs at me on his IG as well. That's another puppet you can't trust, shouldn't work with, and boycott for sure. Exhibit's also throwing subs at me on his IG. He has this protege called Demrick, and because of that, he needs to gatekeep me. Him continuing to be fed by the industry, etc., depends on him gatekeeping me and playing games and going along with the false narrative, all that. On his new album, on this song called Play This at My Funeral, he goes, time to grow the fuck up and get a job. Basically trying to insult anyone else trying to do it because he's standing from a standpoint of having a false sense of entitlement and superiority. So he deserves it and is entitled to it. But anyone else that he does, like me, that has to gatekeep and can't accept, and others who have put in the equal amount of work, if not more, don't, for some reason. So he wants to say that to morally justify it to himself. And this is on his new album called Kingmaker, which is odd because the only thing he's making is rats, sheeps, corny pussies, and puppets. That won't respond directly, just more subs and cowardly take the L.
In this position, this is rightfully mine, right? Y'all motherfuckers know what time it is. Time to grow the fuck up, get a job, and feed your kids.
Wiz Khalifa dresses like a fag on IG and is way too materialistic. He also threw the sub at me where he goes, you just gotta boss up if you wanna live this life. I don't remember what song it was, but because he's jealous and insecure, so to try to size me up in a way and make him feel bigger, he tries to make me out as not a boss and him a boss. And unless you're going along with their narrative and the Satanist bullshit, they try to make you out as not this or that or whatever they can do to try to boost themselves up and make themselves feel bigger when they're smaller. And in fact, he's the one taking orders, not me, so who's really the boss here? Come on. In the song I go, tell Wiz Khalifa to live this life, you just gotta boss up. Be straight and solid, don't strafe, not materialistic, don't toss subs. Fuck Crooked Eye is the ad-lib that comes in after that. Which then in the next line I go, tell struggle it's fight no flight, 2 + 2, 5 is the total. Crooked-eyed. That's the next ad-lib that goes after that line, which is a reference to the rapper Crooked Eye, who is also throwing subs on IG and songs and shit. Tell struggle it's fight no flight, that's a reference to a subliminal struggle Jennings threw at me on his song Soul on Fire.
Never break like I've been broken down. Try to find a balance on this broken ground. My feet is planted, my mind is right, and I'ma die for mine, no fight or flight.
He also has another sub he threw at me, Struggle Jennings, where he goes, these rappers are comedians. I'll have you praying to the dead like a medium. Knowing I refer to a medium, a genuine medium, and not just him, but all kinds of different sources, genuine sources, for information, or anyone who does that, I don't see why you'd be chirping them. That makes no fucking goddamn sense to me, unless you're just an evil, moralist asshole. In that line I also went, 2 plus 2, 5 is the total. Then the next line I go, until Jelly Roll bring truth to light. That's right, ropes pulled, control the oval. Jelly Roll has thrown subs at me on IG, and he's also thrown the specific sub at me on his story on IG, where he implied, I think, that 2 plus 2 equals 5. Because I won't go along with the lies and false narrative they created about me, and accept the subs they throw at me in order to try to control me, because they have no form of blackmail and no other means to try to control me. So he puts a thing on his story of Keanu Reeves and 2 plus 2, me thinking 2 plus 2 equals 5, and the Keanu Reeves thing is to identify with me because I was doing a Keanu Reeves themed Excommunicado song at the time. Anyways, long story short, Jelly Rolls, not a solid person. He throws subs, he plays games, and he's one of them. Boycott and don't fuck with that guy. After that line I go, falling up, no cliff jump, if futuristic, cut my bungee, snap him in half like a cliff bar, the trip up left me hungry. I have a line in one of my songs where I go, ups and downs, pack a bungee. So, of course, futuristic in one of his random songs, which I think he's taken down or removed or whatever. I couldn't find it when I went back or even remember what the fucking song was. But remember for sure, in one of his songs he went, I'm going to cut your bungee. And it was a subliminal chirp directly meant at me. So I was responding to him, to that on this verse here. I've also seen futuristic throw subs at me on IG multiple times as well. After that line I go, pop Snoop Dogg's bubble. Don't care if his pocket's chunky. Fuck Nas, make him uncomfy. Biden was like a wired dummy.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate, but for all the millions whose lives will be saved, for the communities where life will be transformed, thank you. So thank you, President Biden, for your outstanding leadership.
Snoop Dogg, I guess being that he's a dog, has bit me several times. One of the times was on his song CEO, where he goes, back like I never left. In this motherfucker to my last breath. I say still cooking to my last breath, but that's the same line, the exact same line I've used in my still cooking song.
I'm back like I never left. In this motherfucker spitting rhymes to my last breath. Snoop Dogg in the building, yes, y'all. Line 'em up, barbershop, fade 'em all. Watching the game from the halls of
I also have a song called Get Your Bread Up, which was on my Raw album, which he did the same exact idea or concept for. And on that song, he also threw a sub, which was I'm not going to get into, but it was in relation to my relationship with who I was going out with at the time. And in perfect response to that, the song I did with Snoop Dogg, Forever Smoking, I responded to that line and addressed it and flipped it back on him. And he also tried to originally have that song called Rules to the Game. And he put that on the song because he wanted me to go along with their narrative and subs and all that bullshit to try to make it seem like I was the one that broke the rules of the game when he's the one that did and I didn't. So he wanted to give me this song. He's only willing to do a song with me if it's a sub he's throwing at me on the song, and the song's called Rules to the Game, rules to which he breaks and I obey. And whatever, regardless of that, I flipped it and turned it into an actual dope song called Forever Smoking. That is a timeless record. The other person I mentioned in that bar there was Nas. Fuck Nas, make him uncomfy. He has a song with Lauryn Hill called Nobody.
I don't do the shit you do for popularity. They clearly didn't understand when I said I get out apparently. My awareness like Keanu in the Matrix. I'm saving souls and y'all complaining about my lateness. Now it's illegal for someone to walk in greatness. They want the same, but they don't take risks. Now the world will get to see its own reflection. And the anointed can pursue their own direction. And if you're wrong and you're too proud to hear correction, walk into the hole you dug yourself, fuck a projection. See me in my freedom taking all my land back. They said a lot against me thinking I just stand back. I got my legs beneath me, I got my hands back. A lot of people sabotage, they couldn't stand that. I turned the other cheek, I took blow after blow. There's so much crisis in the world cause you reap what you sow. When you keep what you know is meant for someone else, the ditch you dig for them you might just end up in yourself. I'm in the secret place, I keep a sacred space. They keep showing their hands but keep hiding their face. If I'm a messenger you block me then you block the message. So aggressive, the world you made is what you're left with. Pride and ego over love and truth is fuck reckless. Y'all niggas got a death wish, the stupid leaves me breathless.
Some place to be. Yeah, ain't ducking nothing. Just might have to build my own city where I need a real nigga passport to enter. Miss Hill, we ain't going nowhere. They gonna have to deal with us. Make them uncomfortable.
I have a song called Uncomfortable, and that was a poke at my song Uncomfortable, where he went, make him uncomfortable at the outro or whatever. After that line I go, set the record straight, I'm done being lied about. I couldn't pretend to my friends no Hoppa just for clout. That's referring to DJ Hoppa, who created this false narrative that I was clout chasing. Hold on, let me check my notes here, I want to get this wrong. Created this false narrative that I was clout chasing because I used an obviously photoshopped picture with me and him in it standing together that was taken at a meet and greet to a concert of his I went to way back in the day. Then I used that meet and greet picture. I just simply made an obviously photoshopped crop and cut of it and just some fire over the art, and then I made it into a cover art for a song that I created with the beat that I leased from him and bought from him. So it was the perfect song to do it that. It was not to imply that I knew him or was friends with him, especially considering that no one could have believed me with how obviously photoshopped it was. It wasn't even close. I went to the concert with friends of mine that are from the small town I grew up with that could have easily also verified what I was saying if I was trying to lie about that too, so that would never work. And told others not to work with me because of this, and also throw subs and get on board with this method to try to control me. Then when I finally was about to actually ask him about it directly and confront him, his buddy called Johnny Denver, which I also mentioned later in this song as another rapper, threatened to fucking kill me on his IG story. He actually subliminally threatened to fucking kill me. I couldn't make that up. Then he retracted it when I addressed him trying to subliminally threaten to kill me. And then he backpedaled, retracted, because I guess he didn't want to get in trouble, but he did for sure. He was threatening to kill me if I went public with it and addressed Hoppa directly, which was going to expose the lie they've all been putting in all their songs and making money off of, and all of a sudden it's become a whole issue for them. So that's why it was that degree of a threat, I guess, and that's why they were willing to say that. He was able to learn about this through the obvious methods and privacy invasion, which I've been over before. They are all CIA Mossad puppets and federal informants that can do this and do it to me, and have done it to me. And then 2 lines down from that I go, Brainiac and Big Jaw left Hobson in awe. This is one of the silliest, oddest things I've ever experienced in the industry. Hobson went literally on an IG live I guess because he was jealous or whatever, to chirp me about my jaw and being a brainiac and being really smart. He said the industry likes that, but they shouldn't like that, and people shouldn't rock with that. And he was just going off on this ludicrous rant that was completely unhinged and unfueled by anything. I didn't do anything or say anything to him at the time. Jesus. It was really weird, gay, and comical, but what the fuck? I also mentioned there in that bar, Jerem Benton, who has thrown subs at me multiple times on IG and in songs. He also recently made a new song called Fuck Around and Find Out, which is, I guess, poking at or making fun of my version of my song Fuck Around and Find Out, which I put out on this Puzzle Pieces album. Because he's buddies with Hobson and DJ Hoppa and Dizzy Wright and all these people, and he has to gatekeep and do the same, go along with the same narrative control methods, etc. After that bar I go, fuck recognize, fuck burns. Fuck burner learns from each loss. Recognize and Burns are two rappers in the group Mayday, and they've thrown subs at me in this one song about, it ain't about the trophies, and they've also thrown subs on IG and even got them to admit it on IG that they're part of the cult and privacy invading and playing games and all this shit. A couple lines down from that I go, a sleuth, let's discuss it, rugged man and Ritz go shove it, plus Calico can't be trusted, keep youth from Diddy disgusted. The obvious important line being there, keep youth from Diddy disgusted. For so long he was such a terrible, evil puppeteer of this music industry, and the degree of crimes he's committed should mean that he has to spend the rest of his life in jail, if not be capital punished. Rugged Man and Ritz go shove it. Rugged Man and Ritz are two rappers. They've both tried to chirp me on Twitter and IG and throw subs on social media multiple times. Calico can't be trusted. That's referring to Chris Calico, who I've done my Cleanse LP with multiple songs. But he's throwing subs at me too and is part of it and has to play by the rules, the same control methods and control structure. You'll even notice in the intros to these breakdown analysis videos, Chris Calico's in the intro, and he says got the pieces to the puzzle, putting together is a struggle though. Sticking to the script, of course. The line after I mentioned Diddy, I go off proof, Epstein list goes poof, like magic struck it. No faulty half or depression can take it, but they block blessings. Epstein, of course, was a Mossad agent and a huge puppeteer for the political scene and landscape. Multiple lines down from that I go, prison don't labels, this not to accomplish one under belt. E40 and Webby spit on us, or a staple of Webster on his forehead. Subliminal definition, forced to read it till conscious, etc., etc. E40 threw a sub, claiming that me doing this and sticking up for myself and telling the truth is to simply just get one under my belt, as I mentioned in the verse there. When in fact, I don't start shit, but I will finish it. And I call it out directly and always have solidity. And I would never go attacking people for no reason. I treat people how they treat me and how they deserve to be treated with respect and as equals. They can't say the same or treat the people as equals with respect too. They have a false sense of entitlement, false sense of superiority. And when they can't get their way, like a psychopath does, they try to reflect what they're guilty of onto the person. And Chris Webby too, of course, has thrown multiple subs at me on IG in multiple songs. He even tried to talk to me about it privately on Twitter to diffuse the situation, I guess, but he wouldn't do it with me openly in the public's eye. I'm like, let's talk about this openly and tweet each other in the public's eyes so they can see it and you can prove to me you got nothing to hide and what you're saying doesn't need to be. But he wouldn't do that, of course. It's testing him to see if he's part of it or not, right? It's a simple test. Will they respond to you directly and deal with you directly as an equal, or are they allowed to? Because if they're not part of the cult, they would be allowed to and able to. If they can't, it's likely because of that.
The reason why they're doing this is that they want us to become entranced by the idea of this religion, to have it be cool, to have it be trendy. So one of the things they do is this symbol, which is 666. Each finger is one of the stems of the 6. So you'll see people do stuff like this. You'll also see them put their finger over their eye like this. That's the all-seeing eye. Or they'll do this a lot. You'll have this kind of symbolism. So they're out there putting out these sigils and signs and codes and symbols, and they do it through things like pop music. So people start watching what's ever popular, and they're seeing flames, and they're seeing people dancing around in Baphomet horns, and they're seeing all this really strange stuff. Their goal, again, is to acquaint us with their religion so that if they get their goal realized, which is to create a massive world economic collapse, greatly reduce population, and then come out as our liberators, giving us this technology, giving us what they consider to be freedom. We would actually be trading our sovereignty for a...
Fuck Luda, Illuminati, connect the dots and bloodline. Freeman, Rockefeller, DuPont, Bundy, Russell, Collins, and Rothschild, Sullivan, and demons. Part of a French fuck Merovingian, Astor, Kennedy, Honest as Windsor, we fam, unplugged minds.